Hey guys, Bryan here from Liquid Concepts. So today on our weekly tips and tricks videos, we're going to talk a little bit about dipping shotgun metal parts. And so mainly what we're specifically going to be doing is the barrel, the receiver, and also the trigger guard and the cap for your magazine tube. So what we've got here is we've got the timber from Realtree, and so this is a newer pattern. It looks really great. We've dipped a lot of guns in it already, and really looks really good, especially like whenever you're trying to match up a some type of bottomlands camo. This one works really well. And so today what we're going to talk about is just mainly getting this gun, which is going to be a SX3, actually a Winchester. We're going to be dipping it in this pattern, and then of course showing you how it's done. And so what we've got here is we've got all of our parts kind of laid out, and so we're going to start with the actual receiver. And so with the receiver, we're going to actually roll the receiver. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set it just like this, and we've got a little bit of extra on each side. Now that's going to be plenty of room to fit our hands in. And so then we're going to take that and roll it, and then of course we're going to cut it about right in here and then right down like that. And then also, to make sure that we maximize the amount of area that we have, we're actually going to put tape on the longest sides, which is going to be this side and that side, so that way nothing rolls up and it prevents us from having not enough film, because again, we're getting a little tight on film, but we still got plenty enough to do everything and get it all looking really good. So let's go ahead and get this cut and get started. So again, a little bit further out, just like this, and then drop down. And so now this is what we're going to need to dip this receiver. And so again, we're going to grab some yellow tape, run it across our longest side here, and then that way that'll help prevent it from rolling up, like what you can see right here. Alright, so whenever you have a film like this, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it or that it's not usable or anything like that. A lot of the times the humidity will really get to the films, and they make them a little bit harder to work with, as well as they start rolling up. And so a lot of the times what we do is we'll just take and tape down all four corners just like this, and then it makes it a lot easier to put it in the tank with, as well as whenever you're dipping, you have a nice edge down here. Now if this rolls up, it's only going to roll up maybe just a quarter to a half inch, not really much at all, and then we're ready to go. So again, at this point, we can take this and we're just going to lightly just set it down just like that, and then we're ready to go. So same thing with this one here. We're going to set that like that and just catch that edge there, and then hit it just like that. So the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut off the excess ends of the tape, so then that way whenever we go to lay it down in the water, we don't have any of our dividers hitting the tape up here instead of down where it needs to be on the film itself. So now that we've got everything here, we'll set this off to the side, pick this up, and get ready to lay it down into the water. So again, this one makes it really nice and easy with the tape now, and so we can go ahead and put it in the water. Alright, so again, with the film like this, we want to have about 60 seconds at 80 to 90 degrees. We're running at about 84 degrees right now, so we are good to go on our temperature. Of course, we're pulling our dividers in, making sure that everything is as tight as possible, so whenever we go to dip it, there's almost no stretch, and any stretch that is going to be on the film is going to be on the part itself and not just stretched out already before we even dip it. So that's why you want to try to keep your dividers in as close as possible. Let's grab some gloves on and then get started. So because we want our line down here whenever we're dipping it, you can do one of two things. There's 60 seconds on the water. You can either dip it straight down like that, but you're going to have stretch going up the sides of it here, or in this case what we're going to do is we're going to roll it. So we're going to actually take it and set it down in the water like here and here, and then literally roll it all the way around, and so then we have a nice little line right through here. So let's set that up. We've already got 60 seconds on the water, and we're going to go ahead and spray our activator. So we'll check everything, make sure everything looks good, which everything does. It looks nice and glassed out on the water, which is what we want. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to be able to hold it to where we can flip it all the way around, and then we're going to come in like this and then down into the water, and then just roll it very nice and smooth all the way around. And then once we get to this other side over here, we're just going to let the film roll down into itself, and there we go. So that is going to be a completely rolled receiver all the way around. We have no stretch on it. It looks really nice. We've got only one little bitty line up here at the very top of it. Customer will probably never even know it, but we've got a very nice crisp image all the way around with no stretch, which is exactly what we want. Now the other thing to point out is that before we did this, what we actually did was we went through here and we taped off all of this area right in here, as well as we taped off all this area down in here. And so that also really helped us, because whenever we went and we dipped it, we didn't have any film that wanted to blow out from this side and here. And so that helped a lot, because then none of the water or the film was able to blow out and mess up the pattern. So let's go ahead, we'll put this in the rinse station, get it rinsing, get it dried off, get it clear coated, show you guys the end product. I think you're really going to love it, so stay tuned. Okay, so now let's move on to the barrel. So the barrel is going to be very simple, very easy. A couple of things to note is that we have went ahead and taped off this barrel all the way down to this point right here, to where it slides up into the receiver. So we don't want a lot of material on this as far as our paint, our primer, or even our clear coat. And so what we've done is that we have taped this off, so then that way whenever it slides up into the receiver, everything fits more like a factory finish and everything's still good to go. If we was to dip that and throw our clear coat and paint and everything like that on it, we would be pretty much taking all of it back off, because it is a nice tight fit. The other thing is that I have went ahead and left a hook in here to go all the way through here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take and hold this just like this and just like this right here. And so whenever I'm dipping, I can dip it like that, or I can dip it like this, but most of the time I'm going to be dipping it just like this right here, and then we're going to keep it at that same angle going all the way down into the water. So it's nothing too extravagant, nothing crazy about it. It's just mainly just short, sweet, simple, straight down into the water. And of course at this point right here, because you want it to wrap all the way around the entire barrel, you have to make sure that everything is 100% activated correctly. So this is where it really tests your skills on spraying the activator and getting everything exactly perfect, because if you underactivate it, it's going to come up and then literally break off, or of course if you overactivate it, it's going to come up, wrap around, everything's going to look great, you pull it out of the water and literally your film will literally just run off, and so you don't want that either. So we've already got, just like what we had before, we've got our tape on these two edges right here, and then we're going to just slowly and easily go straight down into the water at that angle like I was showing you before, and then get started. So here we go. All right, so let's lay this down into the water. First of all, of course, we got to make sure that our dividers are bigger. So a lot of the times what I like to do is set my dividers way larger than what I need, and then of course come back in, move the dividers in, then you're ready to go. Because there's nothing worse than laying your film down in the water thinking you've got plenty of room, and then you're about halfway through and you figure out, oh hey, I don't have a large enough area because my dividers are too short. So I always like to make sure that my dividers are way longer, and then I can always pull them in. But it's a lot harder to pull the film back out of the water and try to get that working, because normally it doesn't work out. So let's go ahead, grab this and throw this down in the water, and then we'll get started. Alright, so we've got it nice and smooth right here, and then we're just going to lay it down just like this. It's a little bit different from the corner to corner method, but because this thing is so long, it works really well because it is long, but it's also not as wide, and so I can hold it like this, set it down in the middle, and then just let it come out on either side. So again, we've got 60 seconds on the water, and then we're going to pull our dividers in as tight as we can without messing up the pattern, and then of course pull in the other divider, so then that way we don't have any stretch on the film itself. Alright, so now let's go ahead, we'll grab some gloves on, and then we'll get started. All right, so we've got 60 seconds on the water. Everything looks good. We're gonna go ahead and hit it with the activator. So this is just, of course, gonna be one nice smooth pass all the way across. All right, so we'll check it and make sure everything looks good, which it does. And so again, we're just gonna keep it to where the it's all the way up at a 45-degree angle, and then we're just gonna go in nice and slow. So once that starts wrapping around just like that, then we can start going down at a smooth rate all the way down. All right, there we go. So now that that is dipped, we've got a little bit that came out right through here, which isn't a big deal because you've got an area that the mag tube will be sitting right here, and of course all of this is covered because you've got the front forestock. So a lot of the times this will break out. It's not really a big deal. You can come back in, black that in with an airbrush real quick, you're good to go. The majority of what everybody's going to see is going to be, of course, this right here, which looks excellent. The film wrapped around really good all the way around the entire part. So all we got to do is come back in. We'll throw a little bit of touch up in right in this area, right in here, and then we'll be good to go. So we're gonna go ahead, throw this in the rinse station, get it rinsed off, and then get it clear coated, touched up, and then customers definitely going to love it, so stay tuned. All right, so now we're on to the last two parts of the parts that we're gonna be dipping. And so of course we got our trigger guard and the mag cap for the gun. And so we're actually gonna be dipping these both in the exact same pattern all at once. So instead of doing two dips, we can do one. We can pretty much just hold it just like this and then go all the way down. So a couple of things to remember is that in this right here, because it has such a recess in it right in here, it's always going to trap air. Quick little touch up and it'll fix that. And again, as it stretches up, there's no way around it. It's gonna have a little bit of stretch. Now, most of the time on a pattern like this, you don't really see it a lot, so customer is normally not going to care, nor is it going to look out of place. So on this right here with the trigger guard, you wanna make sure that you do not dip it straight down. Now, a lot of people want to do that, but you actually want to give it a little bit of an angle. And so with that angle, what happens is that it allows it to come out and it doesn't trap air inside here or inside any of these curves that we have right on that area. And so also too, whenever we put it at a little bit of an angle like this, as we're going down, we're still going to go down straight, but whenever we put it at that angle, it allows it to wrap all the way around and come up neat and make a nice line. So we're going to go ahead, we've got everything taped off, we're going to lay it in the water and then go ahead and get started. So again, 60 seconds on the water, 80 to 90 degrees, and we're just going to move our dividers in and make sure that everything is as tight as possible. Even though I've got a little bit of water in here, I'm not too worried about it because again, I'm not going to actually be dipping in that section. All right, so let's grab some gloves on and then we'll get started. All right, so now that we've got 60 seconds on the water, we're gonna go ahead and spray this with the activator. And again, we just want a nice, smooth, glassed out look across the entire film. All right, so everything looks good. Looks like we do have a little small bubble right there, so I'm actually going to swap these. And so on this one, I'm gonna go just like this, and on this one, I'm gonna put it about right here. And so you can do them either way, together or one at a time. I'm just gonna go in together with it and then go down and we'll see what happens. All right, so now that we've got both of those together like that, we can pull them right back out, and looks like everything dipped really well. We've got very good color and coverage all the way around the entire part. So we're going to go ahead, put these in the rinse station, getting them rinsed off, and then once they're rinsed, we'll clear coat them, and the customer's definitely going to love them, so stay tuned. All right, so we got everything out of the booth. It looks great. It's all clear coated, ready to go for the customer. We went through, we've done all the little touch-ups that we needed, like even on the barrel, we've just blacked it in right here, which of course won't be seen from the front receiver or the front forearm, but still wanted to give a good professional look, so we went ahead and did all those little things like that. Now the customer's definitely going to love it. So if you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them below. We'd love to hear from you, and hopefully this right here has really helped you out in being able to dip your own shotgun and make it into a camouflage like what we've done right here. So if you have anything that you'd like to add, or even if you'd like to see other videos, definitely let us know in the comments below. And if you have any questions on any of the materials that we've used in this, we're going to have them in the link in the description below, so you can check those out with the links and everything. So I'm Bryan from Liquid Concepts, and we're making hydrographics great again. We'll see you guys next time.